Welcome everybody, I am the YouTuber here and we're getting set for a scheduled release for the tournament. Did the regular games, now we're going to do some tournaments that will be sprinkled in between the games. So the schedule has been altered, so none of the games will be back to back. We will have some tournaments in there. We will have we'll have a 68 team tournament at some point. We'll have a 12 team tournament at some point, and then we'll have the 32 team tournament at some point. But we'll have two 16 team tournaments that are done sort of separately, but then will be merged together. I will explain in just a bit for that. So here's how that works for that one. So this one is using a blank bracket with the style from the NIT tournament bracket, but with the 16 teams from the Big 12 for football, which are as follows: the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seed. Arizona State is number 1 seed. Oklahoma State 16th seed. Then the 3 versus 15. 3 being BYU, the 15 being Arizona, and the 2 being Iowa State, and the 14 being Utah, the 4 being Colorado, and the 13 being UCF. 5 seed Baylor versus 12 seed Houston, 8 seed Kansas State versus 9 seed West Virginia, 6 seed TCU versus 11 seed Cincinnati, and then 7 seed Texas Tech versus 10th seed Kansas. That is the Big 12 side of things, and that's the Big 12 tournament. Now, they will wait the winner from the SEC tournament, and the SEC tournament is as follows: the first seed Texas Longhorns will take on the 16th seed Mississippi State, and then the 3rd seed Tennessee will take on the 15th seed Kentucky. The 2nd seed Georgia will take on the 2nd seed Oklahoma. The 4th seed Alabama takes on the 13th seed Auburn. The 5th seed LSU will take on the 2nd seed Vanderbilt. The 12th seed. Sorry, not the 2nd seed. Sorry, 12th seed will take so it'll be 5th seed LSU taking on the 12th seed Vanderbilt, the 8th seed South Carolina, and the 9th seed Texas A&M, the 6th seed Ole Miss, and the 11th seed Arkansas, the 7th seed Missouri taking on the 10th seed Florida. Again, the winner of that SEC tournament will go on to play the winner of the Big 12 tournament for a championship game in Atlanta. So for the SEC, that means whoever plays in that game and wins that game will play 2 consecutive games in Atlanta. The SEC championship, of course, is in Atlanta. In real life, that's where we're going to have it for our SEC tournament football. So like I said, the SEC tournament, or sorry, the SEC championship game in football every year is in Atlanta. So why not put that in Atlanta there? So because that's a bowl site, we can do that with that, and then for the Big 12, that'll be in Arlington, where the actual Big 12 championship is. Now, for the first round and second round, they'll be at the higher teams. So, which means Texas will host Mississippi State, Tennessee will host Kentucky, Georgia will host Oklahoma, Alabama will host Auburn in a first round game that is a Iron Bowl. The LSU will host Vanderbilt, South Carolina will host Texas A&M, Ole Miss hosts Arkansas, and Missouri hosts Florida. That's on the SEC side. On the Big 12 side, it'll be Arizona State hosting Oklahoma State, BYU hosting Arizona, Iowa State hosting Utah, Colorado hosting UCF, Baylor hosting Houston, Kansas State hosting West Virginia, TCU hosting Cincinnati, and Texas Tech hosting Kansas. Then whoever is the higher seed, say Arizona State beat Oklahoma State, and they play either Arizona or BYU, they would host. If Oklahoma State wins and Arizona wins, Arizona will host Oklahoma, and then if BYU wins and Oklahoma State wins, Oklahoma State will go to at BYU. So since they're the last seed, they will not host. Period. They are just uh, they are just going to be a road team the rest of the way. That would also go for Mississippi State as well, since they are the 16th seed in since they're the 16th seed in the since they're the 16th seed in the SEC side of things. The only team that might be able to host a second round being of those bottom seeds being if all the number one seeds lost, or sorry, all the higher seeds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If all those ones 1 through 9 lost, then 10 would be able to host 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, but 16 wouldn't because they're the last of the bottom. So it'll be like again, the first round will be at Arizona, at BYU, at Iowa State, at Colorado, at Baylor, at Kansas State, at TCU, and at Texas Tech. And the teams that we playing there will be Oklahoma State against Arizona State, Arizona against BYU, Utah against Iowa State, UCF against Colorado, Houston against Baylor, West Virginia against Kansas State, Cincinnati against TCU, and Kansas against Texas Tech. The only one that is only one seed difference matchup is Kansas State and West Virginia on the Big 12 side, and South Carolina and Texas A&M on the SEC side. That's the 8-9 matchup. So that'll be the SEC tournament and the Big 12 tournament, with each champion of the tournament playing each other in an ultimate championship to see who's better, the Big 12 or the SEC, and the Big 12 SEC tournament showdown. Then after that tournament concludes, I will go through and talk about the playoffs, eligible playoffs, which is Arizona State again, Oregon, Boise State, and Georgia. They'll get a first round bye, being they were the top 4 seeds. Yeah, being that they were the top 4 seeds in they were the top 4 seeds in the. And the same thing goes there. The higher seeds host in the first round, and then in the second round are in neutral sites. Those second round games are in the following sites. if Clemson and Texas were to win, they will take on Arizona State. That'll be for a Peach Bowl. If Tennessee and Iowa, whoever wins between Texas and Iowa State will take on Oregon. In either a Big Ten versus Big Ten matchup or Big Ten versus SEC matchup. And then if that first one, Arizona State from the Big 12 would either play Texas from the SEC or Clemson from the ACC. Then we have SMU and Penn State, Big 10 versus American Athletic Conference, or sorry, ACC. And then the winner will go on to play Boise State from the Mountain West. Then Notre Dame from the Independent and Indiana from the Big 10 will take on, winner of that one will take on Georgia. So those matchups are Arizona versus the winner of Texas and Clemson in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The Oregon versus the winner of the Tennessee Ohio State game in the Rose Bowl. The winner of the SMU Penn State game against Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. Winner of the Indiana Notre Dame game against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. And then the semifinals would be in Arlington and in Miami. Cotton Bowl for the game in Orlando or in Arlington, and then the one in Miami, the Capital One Orange. And the national championship in Atlanta. And so that is the matchups. Therefore, for me doing the 2024-2025 College Football Playoffs from real life on the PS5 and College Football 25. Then moving on to postseason, we will do the bowl games, like I said, with the exception of the Cricket Celebration Bowl. We may or may not do that one, depending upon if I decide to download those two teams or not. I might decide to do a Cricket Celebration Bowl, but not that one. I may do my teams I have downloaded for Team Builder for that, which are mostly D2 schools, and then the teams I create, which are going to be playing against the D2 schools, so we consider a D2 FBS kind of a halfway where they can play either team since it's a created team. And that is going to be that. That's the only one. The rest of them are as follows: the Veterans Bowl between South Alabama and Michigan, the Frisco Bowl between Memphis and West Virginia, the Boca Raton Bowl between Western Kentucky and James Madison, the LA Bowl between California and UNLV as the first set of bowls. And the second set of bowls are Georgia Southern versus Sam Houston in the New Orleans Bowl. New Orleans Bowl. Sorry. And then the Care Bowl between Ohio and Jackson State. The Gasparilla Bowl between Tulane and Florida. And then of course it'll be a playoff game. So we'll do, like I said, what happens is how it's going to work schedule wise is it's going to be the Big 12 NCAA tournament. Those two, all the games will be playing, and then all at that tournament will be all said and done. They'll move on to the postseason. So we'll do the bowl games, which is the Cricket Celebration Bowl with those teams from Team Builder. Whether I do Jackson State and South Carolina State, I don't know. I haven't decided. I can only download 16 teams, so I may not do that one as it is. I may do a something similar to that with different teams, but being in the same location in Atlanta. And then the Veterans Bowl first, then the Festival Bowl, then the Boca Raton, then the LA Bowl, the LA Bowl, and then the New Orleans Carrier, RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl, the South DNA Cure Bowl, sprint game, and then another playoff game, and then back to the Bulls, and so you're gonna get the Roll Baseball, then the Potato Bowl, then the Hawaii Bowl, then the Arizona Game of Sports Above Bowl, the Rate Bowl, the 68 Ventures Bowl, the Lockheed Martin Forces Bowl, Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, the Birmingham Bowl, the Ozone Liberty Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl, the Fenway Bowl. Now here's when it gets tricky. The Bad Boy Motors Pinstripe Bowl. We might do that one. It's just not going to be in just going to be since that game is not since that name is not in the game. But what does that mean for that? We will put in the site closest to that. So that's New York. So the closest bowl site closest to that would be there's no bowl games in New York outside that one. So probably for that one we would probably put in DC where the Military Bowl, or Annapolis, Maryland, where the Military Bowl is. So Military Bowl site would host two bowl games: the actual Military Bowl and then this bowl. And then go back to the regular bowls. Let's go Pop Tarts, Arizona Bowl, Military Bowl. Like I said, same location as where the Pinstripe Bowl would be, just because of close proximity to it, and up north in Annapolis, Maryland. Or if that Military Bowl is in West Point, then yeah, I can see that. All right, since that's still technically New York area. Then we have the Allen Bowl, then the Independence Bowl, then the Music City Bowl, then the Wild Quest Bowl, then Sun Bowl, then the Citrus Bowl, the Texas Bowl. Then we have two. Then you have the quarterfinals games. We'll have two different quarterfinal games that day. Penn State versus Boise State, and whatever comes out of mine. If it is different. If it's the same two teams that come out of mine that came out in real life, then I will do it just once. If it's two different, if it's the same team coming out both times, I will do just one game. If it comes out different, then I'll do the actual one for mine and then the actual one for that next round. All right. Same goes for Arizona State and Texas, Ohio State and Oregon, and Notre Dame and Georgia. If those came out the same way in mine that they do in the game, then I will only play those games once for all of those quarterfinal games. The McGarry Bowl between Duke and Ole Miss, then the first Triumph Bowl between North Texas and Texas State. And let's call the bowl games for those in the bowl games in order as how they're going to be played. You got the Mayo Bowl, Deuce Mayo Bowl, the Bahamas Bowl is the last non-playoff thing, and then you have the playoffs and finals. Same goes for that was the case for the quarterfinals. Those games will be played only once if it comes out the same. If it comes out different, meaning I get a different result, meaning SMU wins instead of Penn State, Indiana wins instead of Notre Dame, Clemson wins instead of Arizona State. Tennessee wins instead of Ohio State. And like I said, yeah. That would be the only way that those would be. If well, either that or we just leave those blank and then we write in the one matchup from ours instead. So I think that's probably what I'll do is I'll write out the helmet and the team, and then I'll write in whoever is going to be playing in that matchup. And that way that I only have to play that matchup only once and not have to play it. I may still play that actual matchup from their later. Yeah, and I definitely will play those actual matchups later, like Ohio State versus Oregon, Wayne State and Penn State, Texas, Arizona State, Notre Dame and Georgia, and then Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, and Ohio State, Notre Dame. I will play those games as well as my own version of the as that is how that's gonna work. That way we only have to play one game and then two, but later on after everything is all complete and done for my version. That way that's done. So that's why I'm writing out those. I know that means I can't have the helmet one for those actual matchups, but I'll just look it up and on the back of the sheet, I'll just write those actual matchups and what bowl they were in for each of those matchups, and then do the actual national championship as well. So those every version of it will get played. Every matchup will get played, no matter what. So that every potential matchup, meaning Texas versus Arizona State, Clemson versus Arizona State, Tennessee versus Ohio State, and Oregon versus uh, uh, Tennessee and Ohio State versus Oregon, SMU and Penn State versus Boise State, and Indiana and Notre Dame versus Georgia. All those matchups will get played no matter if one is my version, the other is the real life version, or my version and that version matches, and I do an extra version not be the regular real life version, but the other team won version, if that makes sense. That's how that's going to work for it, and that's how it's going to work from this point forward for any tournament I do in college football moving forward. That is the Big 12 tournament, and then the SEC tournament, and then those two winners playing in the Big 12 SEC Clash. and then you have then the actual playoffs, and then the bowl games, and then we will do eventually, not anytime soon, we'll do the regular single mode. So that's not going to start almost immediately. That'll start after Dynasty mode is done for college football year one. I will, or yeah, in around college football 20 Dynasty mode. On those days, I'm not doing Dynasty mode with Oklahoma State, Liberty, and Coastal Carolina on Thursday, Friday, Saturday games. We'll do the Big 12 tournament all the way through, the SEC tournament all the way through, and then those two teams game. And there will be one exhibition game on that day before those two teams play each other in the championship game. So those two teams get a rest, and then we'll do the playoffs and the bowls kind of simultaneously. That'll take a while, but we'll do intertwine the dynasty modes at the end of the week. So the beginning of the week is bowl games, end of the week is college bowl games, and then what next tournament we will do is a 32 team tournament, mixed tournament, and then a 68 team tournament. And then another something that I think we'll do. I don't think we'll ever do a 4-team tournament. We'll just do 68 being the largest, and then 32 being the medium size, and then the smallest be 12. Those 3 size tournaments would be how that would work there for games. So Bedlam has been moved to April 3rd. The South Dakota State game has been moved from April 3rd to April 2nd. The SNU UCO game has been moved from April 2nd to April 1st. So it'll now read this way with the updated version of it. April 2nd game, April 1st will be SNU and UCO. April 2nd, South Dakota and South Dakota State. Then April 3rd will be Bedlam. April 4th, North Dakota versus North Dakota State. April 5th, which would have been Bedlam, is now North Dakota State versus South Dakota State. So April 4th, 4th, 5th, and 6th will be those Dakota matchups. 4, 5, 6. Then the 7th, which is a Monday, will be to be determined. It was supposed to have been Arkansas, Oklahoma State. That and all the other dynasty modes will get pushed back to once a week on the Fridays. Thursdays is Coastal Carolina's dynasty mode week or slot, and then all the Coastal Carolina dynasty mode games will be on Thursdays. Fridays will be Oklahoma State on Thursday, Coastal Carolina on Friday, and Liberty on Saturday. Or Liberty on Friday and Coastal Carolina on Saturday. I just haven't decided on that yet, but Oklahoma State on Thursdays. Then we'll also have a game of the week. Sometimes there'll be Liberty, and sometimes or Coastal Carolina, and sometimes there'll be another team that may already had played. They're in their dynasty mode. They just need a game of the week, and that will be whatever the game determines from dynasty mode. I'll explain how that will work when the game is loaded up. since it is easier to explain that way than trying to explain it audibly now. So that will be between the regular scheduled playoffs, SEC Big 12 Tournament Challenge, and the bowl games. That is basically what we're doing for College Bowl 25 for the updated schedule tournament released and the updated regular one as of now. That is what the way it's going to be. So that'll do it. And this will be the last College Bowl video tournament thing that you see until I announce another tournament. Next College Bowl video you see on this channel will be on Tuesday, April 5th. So tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you will see other content on this channel other than college football content, which will be a mixture of Clue, Uno, billiards, pool, or pool slash billiards, Clue, Uno, and so yeah, it'll be Uno on Friday, billiards on Saturday, Clue on Sunday. Monday would be either Wheel of Fortune or Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I haven't decided between those two yet what I'm doing on Monday. That's the ones for and then today later on in just a little bit I will do one of those games. So it'll be actually Thursday. Sorry, that's what this was Thursday. This is Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 5 different games each day from rest of the day, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. The rest of March will be other games. Those other games will still continue into April. They just will be in and around mixed, sprinkled in and around the college football and Madden. We'll have a tournament for that. I'll announce that after all this stuff tournament wise is done for the college football. Once the tournament stuff is done for the college football, I'm done with doing tournaments for college football for a little while. I will do a 32 or 12 team tournament for the Madden. There's no since there's no 68, there's no 68 teams in there. I mean, I guess you can create a team builder, but you probably only downloaded the 10 there. So again, that is the 68 one is for basketball and Pro Bowl for college. The biggest one for it for Pro is 32. 12, and then all the way down to 4. Now I'll explain how you do that without making another template. Alright, sorry about that. My thing was ran out. My battery ran out of charge, and I had to continue. I didn't know what happens with it, so I don't know what you heard after it ran out of charge. I don't want to have to go back on there and watch the whole thing, listen to the whole thing, and see what happens with it, so I know what happens when it ran out of charge. But that'll do it. So that's how things are gonna go. You'll find out as it goes along how it's gonna work. Until next time, keep on your everybody. I'll see you next time.